Live on Twitch.tv, our three hosts, Donald, Evan, and Hannah, talk about one of the most critically acclaimed entries in the Star Wars universe, originally starting in 2008, with the most recent season being banned, or not done, for numerous amounts of years until 2020 when Disney revived it. How well does this series hold up today? Find out now on General Geekery! Okay, so I might have botched it a little bit in the middle just because I'm like, oh crap, I should have thought this through.
We'll fix it in post.
Sure, we'll fix it in post. Yeah, I will absolutely fix it in post.
Honestly, even good with the mistakes, you're good.
Future Donald, fix it. Anyway. What is going on, ladies, gentlemen, all you wonderful people watching live on twitch.tv/RyuzakiMK7 or just listening later on Spotify, Spreaker, wherever this podcast is found. Welcome back to the General Geekery Podcast. This is the podcast where we geek out about all that we love to geek out about with no remorse, no regrets, and with
all the enthusiasm! Unlimited enthusiasm!
Unlimited enthusiasm! Powered by your local dark side user.
The unlimited power of the enthusiasm. Anyway, as always, I am Donald Kaczynski, your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, and streamer by night. Joining me, as always, she is the dice slinger extraordinaire, Artiste Magnificent, and the librarian of all things dystopia-related. She is Hannah Kubiak. And we have
Greetings.
And we have a very special...
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can absolutely
hear
you.
Okay.
You're good.
You're coming in loud and clear, Hannah. And we have a very special guest with us today. A very good friend of mine who I'm so excited he asked to be on here. He is a theater professional and cosplayer. You can check him out on Instagram and Twitter at DarkPactCosplay. I would like to please welcome to the General Geekery Podcast, Mr. Evan Jacob Braun. Evan, I'm so glad you agreed to join us tonight.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here. Talking everything Star Wars is my jam. As you may tell from the things behind me, I am a little obsessed with Star Wars.
I'm jealous of your lightsaber collection. I'm jealous, my friend. Like, genuinely jealous.
It's an expensive hobby.
I bet.
I don't do much outside of it.
So, before we get started into
I don't have a life, really.
Yeah.
Vacations, who needs them when you have lightsabers?
So vacations? I think you mean craftcations.
Indeed. So before
So
before we get started, like, on the topic, Evan, do you want to share a little bit about like some stuff you do? Like, what are some of your interests? Like, obviously you said Star Wars is a big thing that you love to geek out about. Any other things that interest you, my friend?
Yeah, so obviously you mentioned the cosplay part. My focus in cosplay, Dark Pact, is I focus around anti-heroes and villains throughout all my favorite fictions throughout the world, and some original characters as well too. Kind of do like a culty pact sort of theme with all my stuff, so that's always fun. I'm also a D&D enthusiast. I DM a campaign that's been going on for the better part of the last year and a half, based on southeastern Wisconsin, because I am a Wisconsin simp. So besides that, oh God, what do I do? At my day job, I am a fundraiser for nonprofits. I actually just got a new job. I'm going to be working for the Anti-Defamation League in Chicago, starting in the middle of June.
Fun.
So overall, just big time geek, video gamer as well too. I stream on Twitch. I've just started that actually, but I've been taking a break because I'm moving soon. But those are probably the bigger things about me. But yeah, so glad to be here.
I hereby dub you the lawful chaotic Sith Lord.
Lawful chaotic.
I'm just
follow laws.
True neutral.
I follow laws, but you do not know what they are.
Who wrote those laws?
I am unpredictable in my lawfulness. I am a law unto myself.
Thou nature art my goddess, to thy laws my services are bound.
That's Shakespeare.
Indeed.
Wait a minute. Is that...
Give it a second.
Is that... Benedict.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I'm glad I could redeem myself there.
We're all theater people. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So, shall we get into the meat and bones of what we are going to be talking about tonight?
Yes, let's.
Tonight's episode of General Geekery I've wanted to talk about for quite some time. This is one of my favorite animated shows from the early 2000s, and honestly, I think should get a lot more credit right now, especially considering it was probably the dam that burst opening up all this new Star Wars content post the prequel trilogy. I of course am talking about the 2008 animated series Star Wars: The Clone Wars, produced by Dave Filoni and Lucasfilm Arts and all that good stuff. Numerous amounts of people that are associated with Star Wars projects today, such as Jon Favreau, worked on this series. Even Dave Filoni, who is doing the Bad Batch right now, and even has lent his directorial credits to several episodes of Mandalorian, was like one of the main headrunners for this show. And wow, just wow, this show is something else. Like, damn.
I'm going to say what I usually say when we talk about a series here. I was underwhelmed at first, but then I became a fanatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a slow build.
It's a slow burn in season one. Yeah.
This did pretty well. This series did pretty well, like, all things considering, especially for like a remake series. Because this was originally a remake from like a shorts animated series from like 2003 to 2005 that took place in the time span of episode 2 and episode 3 being released.
Mm-hmm.
And that series was animated by the Andrei Tartakovsky, the same person who created Samurai Jack and Dexter's Laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was obsessed with that series when it came out too. It was fantastic.
The artwork for that series is just so good.
It's ridiculously magnificent. I just remember seeing General Grievous for the first time in that show and just losing my mind as a child. It was like, he's walking on walls, he's got spinny lightsabers, he's coming down and crushing Shaggy.
He's like a fucking spider.
He is, and I was
like,
so into that.
like whatever. There was that one. It was early on where some Jedi get lured to his lair or whatever, and they cut his legs off, and he goes like skittering away. It's just like, ugh. Like,
yeah, he's really, really creepy. I've always wanted like a horror series to be done about him, like a short series where it's just like a ARC troopers left alone with them, and he picks them off one by one, like crushing their helmets with his feet.
Yes.
Oh man.
You lost, Kenobi. Kamino has fallen, and soon your clone army will fall.
They should be paying you for his voice acting on that, yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yep. Voice acting will happen someday with this one, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
The voice is strong with this one.
I pray one day. So some familiarity with this series. Obviously, I've seen the show from its inception, and Evan, you have too, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it started from when the movie came out initially, and onward. I took a few breaks here or there, but kept up with it pretty much since it started.
I was the same way. Hannah, for those longtime listeners of the podcast, will no doubt remember, Hannah had not seen Clone Wars. So I figured this was a perfect opportunity to introduce her to it. So, like you said, Hannah, you were a little underwhelmed at first?
Yes, I was a little bit underwhelmed at first. I was sort of like, this was a show that if I didn't have a reason to watch it, I probably wouldn't have. Cat, stop that.
Kefka?
It's like just randomly sitting and scratching the wall like a crazy person.
Pay attention to me.
Yeah, no, literally just like there in the corner, like.
Okay.
Yes, this is a show that because it was 7 seasons. Well, I don't know even when the 7th season came out. Because it was 7 seasons, I was kind of like, oh, that's a lot of seasons, and I don't like to get into something unless I know that it's gonna be good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I have to talk about it for a podcast, and then I'll watch it. So yeah, you know, when we talked about, I think it was in our episode with Jennifer Fosters about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, when we got into
a little bit.
Yeah, when we were talking about season 2 of Mandalorian, we talked about some characters that appeared in there that originally came from Clone Wars canon.
Yeah.
So
Those are some
Bo-Katan,
cool moments.
I actually recognized a lot of the characters from this show because my mom and my sister and I play this game called Star Wars Destiny, where you play Star Wars characters. It's like a dice rolling game. You try and roll damage and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom and my sister are a little bit more obsessed than I am, but I recognize stuff. Like I knew who like Plo Koon was and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's that person, or like, you know.
Yeah.
Altuya droid.
And when we were doing that episode about the Mandalorian, we were talking a little bit about the Clone Wars, and we were talking about how in season 2 they had an episode with Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talked about the character of Ahsoka a little bit, and you had said that sort of like people at the beginning were kind of like, man, like this character is she's kind of a brat. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, she's a kid.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's by design.
I had this whole like, I think I went off on a rant about how I was like, yeah, you know, like Luke was kind of bratty too. Like, what a piece of junk and all this stuff. I'm like, how come?
I want to go to Tashi Station.
I want to go to Tashi Station to get some power converters. Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, you know, it's a young protagonist thing. They can be they're a little bit, you know, they don't know what to do with their limbs. They're all gangly and weird.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, don't know how to control their emotions and all this stuff. Just still figuring out who they are. And there's sort of this, I feel like, thing where it's like, well, you know, if it's this young boy, he can be all annoying and obnoxious and bratty and like,
oh yeah,
and like talk all the time and be annoying. But if it's a girl, it's like, oh yeah, you know, it's like boys will be boys, but look at that bitch over there. She should shut up.
Yeah.
And so I didn't find her annoying at all from the very beginning. I was just like, well, there she is. She's a young person, and I think it's good that young people speak their minds. I think just because the way I was raised to not do that. So when I I see that sort of encouraged and like tempered, see that eagerness and impulsiveness, instead of it being stifled, see it be tempered and honed, you know. Like, instead of trying to change somebody, help them to use their qualities in a good way, which is one of the things that I really love about the Ahsoka Anakin relationship, with the how they're like the teacher and the Padawan, and like I love it. He's really good with her. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
If she had been apprenticed to someone like more like, you know, lawful,
Obi-Wan, even
like Obi-Wan, she
yeah.
would probably have been even more impetuous and been rebellious and just driven him insane, and he would have tried to shut her down all the time. But with Anakin, he's the same as her. So there's like this stuff where she's like, but you do that all the time. And he's like, yeah, I know I do. But we both have to work on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not like I'm your master and I'm always right. It's like, we are similar and
we shouldn't feed into each other. Yeah.
Right. We're both learning and we need to help each other. And just the fact that, it's a sign of a good teacher when you let your student speak their mind and you even take their advice from time to time, which Anakin did. Like Ahsoka would say something and he'd be like, you know what? That's actually a good idea. We're going to do that. And like, he helps her grow as a leader and take initiative and live up to her potential. Like, she's not a commander just because she's a Jedi Padawan. She's a commander because she earned it.
She learned from the best.
And she learned from the best, and she's and she's good at it. And she's a good leader, and their platoon trusts her and follows her and loves her.
Yeah.
And so yeah, a lot of the time, I think as masters, we tend to limit our students and maintain our mastery rather than give them room to grow into masters themselves. Like, there's those quotes at the beginning of every episode, and there was
you can't really do a crawl for like a 30-minute episode, so you might as well just do a single quote. Brilliant.
But there's there's always like a little fortune cookie thing or whatever at the beginning. There's one where it said a good student is what the teacher wishes to be, which I took to mean that as a teacher, we should be trying to help our students become better than us. Like they always say that the student has surpassed the teacher, and it's like this sort of bad thing, but no, it shouldn't.
Yeah, like, it should be a moment of pride.
It should be a moment of pride when you're, dueling your Padawan and they finally beat you. You're like, well done, that was great, In a lot of regards, Ahsoka lived up to become the chosen one that Anakin really didn't get to become. I mean, she became this literal icon of, like, in my opinion, I think she has become like the daughter in a lot of ways from like the Mortis episode. She's essentially taken on this role of being a living physical manifestation of the light side of the Force and acts in a way that you would expect that to. So she's really become a better version of what Anakin should have become, essentially. Yeah, exactly. Because they're so similar, but they went in different directions. Completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. Like her arc, her entire arc of like growth across like all the different seasons, like starting off like as Anakin's Padawan, basically just thrown upon him like without any kind of like prior knowledge or consent, to like them gaining like implicit trust and confidence in one another, so much so that she was like one of the few that Anakin could like confide in, like outside of Padme. And just seeing like this entire go through of it and her learning and like feeling like the betrayal of like when she left the Jedi Temple at the end of in season 5, I was just, all right.
That was probably one of the most impactful moments in Star Wars ever. Absolutely ever. That was awful. Devastating, but like such a powerful and great choice at that moment in the story to throw in there that just like leaves a gut punch in you.
Because
and then that was the end of the season.
Like
the funny thing is originally that episode was slated to be the end of the series.
I know, which is
I cannot imagine watching the season of the series and that being it.
Okay, so while we're on this subject, I might as well just bring this out. So, originally when the show was broadcast on syndication on Cartoon Network, between like 2008 and I want to say like 2012, 2013, but whichever, there was only 5 seasons. And part of it came down to like budget constraints and everything like that, because there were several times that the show went over budget, but the budget was actually covered by George Lucas himself.
Wow.
For several I actually had to read into this. that there were some episodes, like the assault on, I think one of the big ones was the season 3 episode, like when they're doing the assault on Camino, and Echo and Fives are protecting everything, and we will get to 99. We will get to 99, but now is not the time. But
so sad.
Yeah, we will get to that. But that was one of the big ones. Like from like season 3 onwards was like when the budget and like the technology and the animation for the show really took off.
Yeah.
And it's just and it's just like you just couldn't look away. You just could not look away.
Even with the stylized version of it, it is like the peak of animation. Like you could show me like an Avatar-esque style thing where it's like trying to be hyper realistic. I will always orient more towards something like Clone Wars because just the beauty that's put into that style, the specificity, the lighting, it's just so good.
Oh,
can't beat it.
Absolutely, I agree. And but part of that came down to like budget constraints and things like that caused the series to go off. Netflix, if I'm remembering the story correctly, Netflix picked it up for like the episodes that were unreleased as for season 6.
Yes.
And that's the season that we got, especially when it came to like the Fives episodes when he's uncovering the plot of Order 66, which
the chips.
Fives. Oh, we are gonna.
That was another one that I was like, "What? This sucks."
It's so sad.
We're gonna get to Domino Squad soon, but yeah, that entire thing was like gut wrenching, and yeah, the series was like unfinished for like the longest time. Like the start of season 7, which was Bad Batch, like the storyboard for that had been planned out and the early sketches were mapped out, but it was never animated because the project was dropped. Until Disney picked up the Star Wars franchise. And as the sequel trilogy went on, and however you guys feel about it, it gave new Star Wars content and things like that. And in 2020, end of 2019 into 2020, we got the final season of Clone Wars. They finished the Bad Batch story arc that they've been wanting, that has been on the table forever. And they've finished out everything. And this was after Disney already released Star Wars Rebels to the public, and they were already planning all these different shows and spin-offs and stuff for Star Wars. But it's like, to do this, we have to finish up Clone Wars first. Because Clone Wars is kind of the linchpin to this entire thing.
Right, yeah.
And I'm so glad they did it, because I thought it was never going to happen. But when they released the trailer for final season of Clone Wars, I cried. I was crying so hard. I'm like, oh my god, it's happening. They're actually doing it. It's actually happening.
Man, it was really impactful, too, for me, too, to see them finish that up. And I've always wanted to see that really clear, like, bleed into episode 3 was the main thing that I was looking for, and they did that so perfectly with the final season. It was goosebumps when you're seeing those moments of like, oh, we're getting into it. It's getting so close. We're in episode 3 at this point.
I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. The dark side surrounds the Chancellor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You did.
So, the whole thing about the Chancellor and like all that stuff, where if you've seen the movies, you know who the Chancellor is, and just like there's so many instances where he turns away and he's just got this creepy smile, and I'm like, this just like shivers and stuff. But also when he where was it? He showed up. Was it on Mandalore? He showed up on Mandalore to
he took care of business.
Yeah, and like I was watching that. I was like, damn, this old man's got some moves. He is wasted in political office.
He came in with 2 hilted lightsabers and was like,
You have become a rival.
and it's like, please, the male species of Dathomir? Nah, fam. Nah.
You are not?
I was so scared in Clone Wars, like, when they originally brought Maul in, because I'm like, this is some very tricky territory, because you have to convince to a general audience how you bring Maul back.
Yeah. I was a little scared about it too, and it was something that was really meaningful for me as a child too, because episode 1 was the first movie I ever saw, and I've always been Sith obsessed, so I walked into that movie with like Darth Maul face paint, ready to watch it, and then I saw him get bisected, and my dad tells the story all the time. I got up out of my seat and screamed at the movie theater.
That is awesome!
Everyone's staring at me. So when I saw in like I think it was like the end of the 4th season or something like that, where Savage sees a vision of his brother from Mother Talzin, I was like, oh, how are they going to do this? They've done a couple comics where they did like a what if Legends sort of thing of him coming to mess with Ben on Tatooine, but I thought, it's a little far-fetched, but I think they did a good job bringing him back.
Yeah.
I think that was like the big advantage of shows like, shows like Clone Wars and Rebels and everything like that exist. All of them are created by people that know the extended source material and have incorporated it into a concisive canon as best as they can, while still treating the original spin-off source material as their own separate things, which is great. Absolutely great. But
Can I just say, so as you might know from listening to me talk about these things, I am like, creative license and spin-off stuff doesn't really bother me. Like, I am kind of like, okay, well, you have to stay still or go away, okay? So, look at him.
Oh,
look at him.
Sweet lad.
Fear me, fellow geese. I am Sith Lord Kefka.
But yeah, I'm fine to go along for the ride with stuff that like stuff that some like purists might be like, no, you can't do that. Why?
Right,
you know, like, I'm not really like that. I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to that kind of thing. So I was okay with the whole like with Maul coming back and everything, and I found it believable enough. I mean, the moment when like Savage goes down into the pit there, and you realize that that spider creature, the like mechanical spider creature, is Maul. He's like a spider tar.
Disgusting thing. Yeah.
It was like so gross and weird, and he was just so crazy, like crazed and like more crazy
Sam
than ever. Just like just babbling, and like at that point I was like, is this a kid's show anymore?
Right? Sam Witwer's performance on that is so phenomenal. Just like, I remember watching a couple of videos of him just like going through the process of that, and like him like talking about like he was thinking about the Sith code, and like how Maul would continuously mutter the different things about the Sith code, like the chains are the easy part, you know, like it's so good.
It's what's in here. Like,
it's in here, yeah.
It
was just,
but yeah,
so good. Yeah.
I think I would also, it was like really, really late at night. Like it was like 2 a.m. when I was watching that episode, and I was like, am I, like, I felt like I was insane. I was like, what is happening? Like,
this kid show is getting dark and deep. I love that revenge arc and how deep and terrible you get to see Maul go to accomplish his ends and needs, and it's a freaking kids show, and he creates a whole crime syndicate. He murders an entire village. He does a lot of terrible stuff.
He basically takes control of all of Mandalore.
Yeah,
and he takes control. And he takes control of arguably one of the coolest lightsabers to be added into the canon.
The Darksaber.
Oh.
Okay. So from what I haven't seen all of Rebels or anything like that. So I'm really curious to see how the Darksaber got from where
There's some
goes to-
interesting steps with it. I'll say that.
Because like
We'll reach that when we reach that.
because like
Yeah.
if Darth Sidious like defeated him on Mandalore, would he have taken it? Don't tell me.
I've run the gambit of like, if we're going by purist terms of like, must be either defeated in combat or by death to
like
the
an
death.
Elder Wand situation.
Yeah, there are two different trees of who could be the actual ruler of Mandalore.
Mhm.
And I will say, in my opinion, no matter what way you go about it, it is Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker is the only one that has died the ruler of Mandalore.
Kind of.
Because
Oh my god.
because how? Wait, don't tell me.
There's a few spoilers in there, but
Yeah,
Okay, fine,
we
fine.
will reach that when we reach that, because
And that's just classic also, like classic Jedi, if you're like, yep, I could be the ruler of this place, but you just go and live as a hermit on a random island instead.
and wills himself to death through a Force vision.
Yep.
pretty much.
just
Gotta
like-
love the Force. Gotta
Yep.
love it.
Just
Good
like,
old
oh, I tried to do too much with only one bar.
So I think the big advantage
Yeah.
of like how this story, how Clone Wars ended up. First of all, the style of which they approach each episode is fantastic. For those that are not initiated into like this story, the series is told out of order. It is completely told out of order.
I was so confused.
in terms of timeline. Some fans have gotten together and actually created an actual like timeline of events, including the film version of Clone Wars that introduced Ahsoka for the first time and everything like that. From beginning
did?
to yes,
You mean the movie?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
the one where the Jabba the Hutt's son gets kidnapped or something.
Weedle Jabba.
I haven't seen that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
Is it worth it?
I mean, it helps explain like the Zero the Hutt thing, but other than that, it's it just introduces like Ahsoka and it ties in a few things, but
Okay.
it's worth watching. It's worth watching, but
Okay.
generally, so like there exists like a tapestry of like chronological events. Like the fans got together and try to piece everything together from like all the different events that have happened, like the siege of Ryloth, the bounty hunters' inclusion into the war, the holocron heist, everything in between, Mortis, so much stuff. The assault on the Citadel, the rescue mission in the Citadel, where we meet freaking pre-Grand Moff Tarkin. I'm like,
oh my god.
as soon as he said Tarkin, I'm like, oh
damn.
no.
That
Such
unsettled
character.
me. No end.
I had chills, legitimate chills.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
I
once again,
was just more like
fantastic
I was
performance
more
there,
just
too.
like, and there's that fucker.
Yeah.
But it's a person trying to imitate Peter Cushing. We can't boo Peter Cushing.
Right.
It's
Right.
impossible.
Which such a fantastic job of imitating him too. It just spot
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
Absolutely spot on.
Like portraying a young Peter Cushing,
Very well done.
try.
I think they brought him back for a Bad Batch too.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah,
If that's true.
yeah. Yeah, they did a great job for that.
And also, welcome everybody watching live. We appreciate you guys coming in and listening to us talk about Clone Wars. And another one of the big advantages, there are so many different plot points and like story arcs of so many different characters that like you can pretty much watch the Clone Wars just to follow through like any like storyline of like characters that were in like the film canon, or if it's just this separate things made for like the Clone Wars canon for the like the television series, and you just be sucked in.
Mhm.
Like many people say they love this version of Anakin Skywalker because it fixes so much of like what went wrong in the prequel trilogy in terms of like direction, and they actually gave him good dialogue and like things to work with, which I have to say,
things to talk about except sand.
Oh my god, let's not go back to that. Also,
when I was watching this show, and I was just like, that character, the development of the character was actually really good, and I was impressed. And I don't know who the voice actor was, but
Matthew Lanter.
Very good.
Very good.
And I just, the development of it, and just like how he's not a normal Jedi. Like, he's a good person, but he's unorthodox, and he's like kind of like just one of those people who's like, yeah, I'm good at this stuff and I know it, and then the first time he force choked somebody, like, I freaked out. I don't remember when it was.
I think it was in the interrogation room scene when
with the Geonosian, right?
It was I don't even remember what he wanted to know.
They were trying to figure out how to stop like the worm, like the Geonosian worms, from like taking over people's brains and things like that.
The zombie Geonosian.
He was trying to get the information out of Poggle, and like and he's like protocol droid, you stay, everyone else leave.
Yeah.
So, motherfucker, tell me what I need to know.
Yeah, because like Ahsoka was on that ship where everyone was infected, and like
that was a creepy episode too, with like the worm coming out the mouth too.
With Barriss and everything. Oh my god!
And just
had to like freeze the worms out of them. It was crazy.
Yeah, but and that's another thing that I just love about that the Ahsoka Anakin relationship is just like this, just fiercely protective big brother kind of thing, where it's like as soon as she's in danger, he just goes batshit, like,
oh my god, yeah, like when she was on trial, I mean, he was doing stuff that could easily got him kicked out of the order if it wasn't for the fact that he proved her innocence, that was
just like
so crazy to watch.
But it was, I don't know what it is, but I'm just fascinated by these characters who are like, they're like cocky and funny and have kind of this swagger, like, oh, I don't care, but then there's this rage. It's like, where is what is that? Where is that, like, that well-disguised rage, the masked, hidden rage?
Yeah, hidden under a layer of confidence and
hidden under a layer of confidence and comedy. Like,
this is literally Anakin at his peak that they've alluded to, like when Obi-Wan was talking about Anakin, like in New Hope. Like, this is the Anakin that he was talking about, and Dave Filoni and crew just pulled it off with flying colors.
Oh my god! Yeah. I'm so glad he's a creative director now for Lucasfilm.
Oh, thank God! And I'm not gonna lie, as much as I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, James Arnold Taylor does really well in this series.
He does well.
He does, yeah.
Like, he pulls off like the confidence and suaveness that McGregor brought to the role in the prequel trilogy, but he also shows like a little bit more of like vulnerability and like weakness, especially when it came to the Mandalorian side plot involving him.
Oh yeah, it was Satine.
Oh my god,
that was another one where there was another one where what happened to her and everything, like right in front of him. I was like, what?
This show showed that Obi-Wan was like one of the pinnacle Jedi. He had literally everything taken from him. His brother, his lover, his entire way of life, and he still maintained the path. Like, that is true, like, to the Jedi path, to the idea of being selfless and seeing through the vision of the light side of the Force is really fantastic story. And a lot of that was done by that voice actor. So hats off to him. Yeah.
For those not aware, the person who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi in Clone Wars, James Arnold Taylor, some Final Fantasy fans may actually know him as Tidus from Final Fantasy X. He was the voice of Tidus. He was also Plo Koon. He was also Plo Koon
Oh
in
yeah,
this
that's
show.
true.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, a lot of them did like multiple voices and stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
absolutely.
impressed.
The person,
Crazy.
Tom Kane, who did okay, I'm trying to remember. No, it wasn't Tom. It was not Tom Kane. Who was it? Hold on. I know it begins with Tom. No, not. It's not Tom Kenny. I'll find it. But basically, the person who portrays Tyrannus, Count Dooku, also did several of like the other. He did Cad Bane, and I think he also did Zero the Hutt too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that earlier. Yeah.
But you hear Zero the Hutt, and then you think,
Yeah, how does that the same
that can't
person?
possibly be the same
Right.
voice as Count Dooku.
You think the same thing about like Mark Hamill and then the Joker, right? It's
Yeah.
like
True.
until you know, you don't know, right? And that's good voice acting. You know, there's multiple voice actors that actually voiced the Emperor. Well, not Emperor, but then Chancellor Palpatine.
Yeah, because I actually have it right here. How did I lose it again? Okay, there.
I think Tim Curry did the trial scenes for yes. Yeah, the trial scenes for Ahsoka. Tim Curry was the voice of Chancellor Palpatine.
Okay, so here's the story behind this. Ian Abercrombie, who was the original actor portraying Palpatine for the show, in production for season 5, he passed away, I believe.
Yeah.
So who do you have? So you needed to bring someone in order to finish up like Palpatine's thing for like season 5, 6, and 7, outside of the recorded voice lines of Ian McDermott doing Order 66 for into season 7. So who do you bring in? And I didn't even know this at the time. Excuse me, chat room and audio listeners, because I'm going to be yelling loud for this because I love this man to death. Tim fucking Curry!
You met my faithful handyman.
I'm sorry. I'm in love with Tim Curry. He is.
Me too.
He is one of the best, like, cult favorite actors of all time. He does some of the most obscure roles, especially in animation. I mean, he was the main villain for the second season of the Redwall animated series. The man has some weird
That's a deep cut right there.
I mean that in all loving stuff to him, but I'm like, he is a gem to this world.
He really is. He really is. I mean, I'm also in love with him for Rocky Horror, but everything he's done fantastic.
Obviously, Rocky Horror. Yes, Hannah?
Can I go back to Anakin for a moment?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I love Anakin.
I do too now. Like, I was always rather underwhelmed with him before. I don't like. They didn't give Hayden Christensen much to work with, honestly.
Yeah,
besides episode 3, but yeah.
That was. Anyway.
It seems like Hannah's got some opinions.
Yeah, no, the whole scene on what's it called? What's the volcano planet?
Mustafar.
Mustafar, yeah.
Mustafar. Yeah, okay, yeah.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Prime stuff. Oh gosh, you underestimate my power. You're like, I really don't, honestly.
I will.
Literally, have fought with you through a whole war. I know how this works.
I know your power. I know how you work, my friend. You're completely
literally trained you.
Crazy. Speaking of which,
it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. Sorry, move on.
Speaking of which, of being just totally unpredictable, and like he does stuff that a Jedi would never do. Like, I know that this was supposed to be like a dramatic moment, but it made me laugh because there's some guy who he's trying to assassinate Satine on her ship or whatever.
Oh, I know exactly where you're going.
By Satine and Obi-Wan, and he's there, and he's like, and they're both like hesitating, and he's like, He's like, oh yeah, which one of you is gonna prove yourself to be a cold-blooded killer?
I know the exact
And they're both
moment.
hesitating, and then Anakin just appears out of nowhere, no hesitation. Not if I stick you first. Just stabs him, and I'm like, well, of course,
Just the
naturally,
subtext.
he's just walking down the hallway. He's like, ooh, an aggressor, stab.
Anakin. What? He was gonna blow up the ship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like, what? He was gonna blow up the ship, and just like no remorse whatsoever. He's just like, well, it was the right thing to do.
Just the overtone of that whole episode of Obi-Wan trying to prove himself as a super pacifist, and him and Satine going back and forth like, I'm more of a pacifist, no, I'm more of a pacifist. And then Anakin's like, no, okay.
He's like, well, if you're all going to be silly, I'm just going to solve it.
You call yourself a pacifist, and yet you still carry around a deactivator. Oh my god, I love the banter in this show so much. It's so good.
The banter in this show? Yeah. I love it.
So fantastic.
And yeah, so and just a funny thing that because as you know, I always have my like notebook.
Oh my god, she brought notes. I didn't even bring notes.
No. If you saw her notebook rambling, oh man, Evan.
Well, look, I haven't seen this show many times, so I had to take note of things that I.
That's true. I've watched it like 3 times over.
Yeah.
But, okay, I'm gonna do a reference, and I'm gonna see if you guys understand it. So.
Okay.
When Anakin first shows up in season 7, get like the first thing that I said literally out loud was, Anakin, we have to talk about your hair. It's out of control. Anybody?
So is he on the bridge as like he's dodging shots and?
Yeah, and look, no, that was funny too, because like he shows up,
and he's just got this huge Jedi mullet.
Yeah, exactly. Huge mullet. And like Obi-Wan is like, everyone's like, where is Anakin? He's like, I'm right here, and my hair is fly as hell.
He's just dodging shots, missiles going past him. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna walk up over there and talk to him.
I think someone in the chat room got it. The Ember Island players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Gentle Crit.
It is a reference to Prince Zuko's transformation throughout the Avatar series. Where
Beautiful.
he just becomes this shagster by the end, which I love. I love a nice shaggy-haired fella.
Shaggy-haired fella. Huh? That's the other thing. Dave Filoni was involved with Avatar the Airbender for
That's
all
right,
this
he was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
We need to talk about your hair. It's out of control.
Maybe we could do it after the battle, Obi-Wan.
Oh man.
Zuko, another just angsty dude full of rage.
Pretty much.
So can we take a moment to talk about the Mandalorians throughout this entire show too?
Oh my god, yes.
So, as a young kid, like I grew up on like the KOTOR series, Knights of the Old Republic, and I read all the comic books too, and the associated literature around them, like about the Neo Crusaders that faced Revan in the Mandalorian Civil Wars. To see them like in a mainstream setting outside of Jango Fett and Boba Fett and have meaningful characters and play a huge critical role in this series was mind-boggling to me. I mean, this armor behind me here,
yes!
If I can point to it, I made that before the Mandalorians got into the series, and I've always wanted to, and I've been going down streets and people be like, oh, Boba Fett, Jango Fett, oh, a stormtrooper, and then a year later, people finally get it and understand the veracity of that race and the important lore behind them. And now we have a whole TV series too dedicated to the significance of the culture around them. They're such a cool side part of Star Wars that I'm so glad that I got to see come to full fruition and become the thing I wanted to see when I was a kid.
Yeah, just like you, Evan, I was introduced to like the entire like Mandalorian cult weight of life and like race through actually it was through the first Knights of the Old Republic game for Xbox, like when I was first introduced to like Mandalorian, like just the concept of the Old Republic. and just venturing on into that, and just watching through Clone Wars and going through the side plot with Mandalore. When I heard that they were bringing Mandalore, and I'm like, oh,
is it happening?
I was so excited, and going back through that, the fact that the main head of Night Watch was Jon Favreau himself,
that's really
blew my
cool.
mind.
It was
blew my
really
mind.
Good.
On
top of that, they got a cool freaking lightsaber that goes with the lore of the whole, like...
With the entire... The only Mandalorian Jedi.
The only one. They did one, they realized, oh, we fucked up.
Pretty much.
Who was that?
Tar Vizsla is the name of it, maybe? It was a Vizsla.
Yeah,
the Vizslas messed it all up. Yeah.
Yeah, Vizsla.
Well, pre-Vizsla.
Well, pre-Vizsla had gained the saber, but the first...
But he got it from the... Yeah.
Because his family, his house, was the house of the Mandalorian that became the Jedi.
The first Jedi.
The first and only Mandalorian Jedi.
Yeah.
He created the Darksaber as his own personal lightsaber, and when that Jedi passed, the Mandalorians wanted the lightsaber as their own, but the Jedi could not accept that, and so they kept it within the archive. And so the raid on the Jedi Temple that was talked about in Clone Wars was specifically for that Darksaber, because it was in the minds of that Mandalorian house their birthright. And whoever holds the Darksaber is recognized by the power and leader as a true warrior and leader,
uniter of the clans.
The uniter of the clans, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a couple more things I wanted to just...
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, I have... This starts with a correction from an episode we did a little while back. Mostly because I find this embarrassing, because I should know what both of these things are. But what episode was it? Oh, it was when we were talking about Artemis Fowl. Okay. And I mentioned the Bechdel test. Okay. But I think I said the Rorschach test, which is the ink blot test.
Oh, yeah.
Due to you. So I know the difference between the Rorschach test and the Bechdel test.
Fair.
So this show, Clone Wars, it totally passes the Bechdel test, which is a measure of like the representation of women in fiction. So it asks if a work of fiction features at least two women who have names, who talk to each other about something other than a man. They're everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Like there's just like Jedi, generals, senators,
Sith.
Like Asajj.
I love Ventress so much.
I
love her.
Sith witches. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was one point where I think it was when Ahsoka was on the run, and Ventress found her.
Yeah.
She had a helmet on and everything, and I was like, wait a minute. I'd recognize that booty anywhere.
That tight ass. Oh my god.
Oh man. But no, it was just a strange moment for me, because I was like, okay,
so good.
I recognize her. Anyway, but yeah, just all of these women who are just they're respected, they have agency, they have authority, they have compassion, they have like just
ungodly power too.
Yes, just really good, like women who speak their mind. Like it made me want to speak my mind more. Like this is a show that I like. If I had daughters, I would definitely show this show to them.
Oh yeah.
Just like it was awesome. Yeah, you got Ahsoka, obviously, Padme, Ayla, Luminara, Senator Chuchi, Asajj, Ventress, Varys, the Night Sisters, who
oh my god, they terrify me.
the Night Sisters, they only really talk about men when they want to either control and manipulate or murder them. So they test
so good.
You do
so
not
good.
screw with the Night Sisters. You do not screw with the Night Sisters.
Bo-Katan, Stila Guerrera.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot they brought in the Guerreras on this.
Yeah, but yeah, as a writer, a lot of the time I'll when I'm writing a story, I'm like, gotta introduce a new character. Could this character be a woman? And if the answer is yes, usually I do that. Like, just
how I do most of my writing in D&D too. I don't think I really have any main NPCs that aren't women, honestly, because I just think they make better stories and more interesting stories. And most of my characters in my players in my game are women too. They have layers that I think they're not really, like, people don't really take advantage of the layers you can have with female characters a lot. Like, like portraying women as like their own person with their own goals, as opposed to like in relation to what the men around them are doing, is becoming more and more common. And I like that. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm like, what is the word? I don't remember. I don't know. Like, I'm not like incredibly feminist, but I appreciate like femininity being emphasized, you know, in a good way, in a three-dimensional way. I just really appreciate it. So yeah, that was one of my rants. I feel like, and then the show is called The Clone Wars.
Yep.
And I don't know why I didn't see this coming, but I think the whole show, pretty much, it was more about the clones than I thought it would be.
Oh God.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Like, there's so many, like the clones, like they all have the same face, but you get attached to them.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, you're like all the different ones. You're like Rex and Cody and Echo and Fives and
Rex, Cody, Domino Squad, everyone in between. 99. Oh my God! Some of the best stories in this entire series focus literally on all the clones.
They're just so interesting. I want to talk about like individuality as part of a unit in a second, but you wanted to talk about 99.
Yeah.
So
look at me, I'm like talking into my hair, getting all crazy.
God, yes. So
just go against it.
So literally jumping off like what Hannah was talking about, my opinion, probably like the strongest point of all this entire show, the linchpin of everything, is the most recurring character, which is the clones, of course. Like, there's different versions of them, and we get attached to several different particular clone troopers. But they're kind of the linchpin to everything, because this is the Clone Wars. And if there's no like personality or anything to the clones, then we got a bit of a problem. Because, don't get me wrong, the original actor for all of the clones in Jango Fett in the prequel trilogy did great, but Tamuya didn't have enough screen time to really personalize each of the different clones.
Yeah.
Which D. Bradley Baker, as a very trained voice actor, through subtle little differences in speech pattern, mannerisms, dialect, and everything in between, you can feel the different individuality and character traits of every single clone with just 2 seconds of dialogue.
It's insane.
It's
incredible.
That is impressive. Absolutely insane. And yeah. So, like I said, Clone Trooper 99, he was not there for many episodes, but in the few episodes that we got with him in season 3, he was not a good clone in the manner of like, he was not fit for active duty because he did not grow to an extent that was fit for battle.
Yeah, he had some
Genetic defects.
he had some
Yeah,
some genetic
disabilities.
defects.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, and so he was basically the seer off to everything. He was the helper around the clone birth world of Kamino.
Basically a
less.
glorified janitor for the most part. He was doing a lot of maintenance around space. So yeah,
The groundskeeper.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but we see in the episode like when that shows the early days of like Domino Squad before they get sent off to like the asteroid signal tower.
Yeah, that was where I figured out that it wasn't in order. Actually, I was like, wait a minute.
This already
People
happened.
have already what?
Yeah, you were like, wait, didn't those two die off already?
Yeah, I was like, those two are dead. What's happening? Yeah.
So we get to, so they show all that, and it's really 99 was like the clone that I think first got like his true like individuality, because he did not see each one of them as just a serial number or just another foot soldier like the others, because he was really the one to impartmentalize like in each of the clones the sense of individuality and brotherhood throughout all of the clones, which really manifested itself mostly in the Domino Squad, like Fives, Echo, and Heavy, and of course obviously the standout clone, Captain Rex. God bless you, Rex.
I wish that Hardcase had been around more.
Yeah.
Because he was like one of those ones where you're like, that one is like, they're all different, but he's very different.
He's funky, yeah.
Around for as long as he was.
Yeah. Actually, someone in the chat room actually
plus,
just said...
it was like, I like his enthusiasm, but he'll be the first to die.
Funny thing is, someone in the chat actually said the thing, 99 is the Hagrid of Kamino.
Yep.
Hagrid of Kamino.
In a way, yeah. And in the Assault on Kamino, it all basically comes down to a head, because he actually gets to be a soldier helping his brothers defend their home world.
Yeah, in his final act, yeah.
Because, he knows where everything is there and stuff, and he, like, yeah.
The way that he went and his story arc was the thing that I think the sequel trilogy kind of missed out on, was like how individuals that come from literally nothing can have such a massive impact on like the individuals that are around him and the greater galaxy as a whole. That's why I really was hoping that Rey didn't have any lineage to anyone, that she wouldn't be Obi-Wan's daughter or a missing Skywalker and she ended up being a Palpatine. But I thought there was vastly more weight to her just being like, you were the daughter of two druggies that literally dropped you for money on a desert world and have probably died of an overdose. But now the Force has chosen you. You must step up. You must become this greater thing.
Like to come from nothing.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in that. And there's a lot of need for stories like that in the world, because a lot of people feel unempowered to really do anything because they don't come from something, which, our society values vastly, unfortunately. So I just wish there were more stories like 99 in Star Wars and some of the bigger movies and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh man. And they did not have to go that hard for 99's death.
They didn't. It was beautiful.
They gave him like the most homaged, inspired. Oh my god.
There's like 1,000,001 AMV videos on YouTube of 99 stuff, I'm sure, to like every emo song you could find. Every Linkin Park song has AMV of 99 going.
They did not have to go that hard. The sound designer for the show did not have to go that John Williams hard for his death, but god damn it.
He deserved it. He deserved it.
I cry every time I come to that scene. Every time I think I'm like, I'm not gonna cry, and then it starts up, I'm like, oh fuck. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! I told myself I was gonna be strong for this. Damn it! 99! No! Oh, it hurts so much.
Does.
Oh man.
But there's
Well, yeah,
so many different clone stories for this. So I gotta ask, what were some of our favorite just clone-centric stories? Like it can be a single episode or like an entire like story arc across several episodes. Anyone got any ones off the top of their heads?
Fives.
Oh, from season 6?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was just it made me so mad because he first of all, he was trying to save his friend. He could not save his friend. He did everything to figure out what's going wrong, trying to basically save his brothers from the same fate that Top had, and as he's going through all of this, like, nobody believes him, or they know what's going on. They're trying to shut him up. And then like the final thing where he's become so paranoid, and
because he was drugged out of his mind, so
they drugged him out of his mind, so he didn't he didn't know what was going on. Like, he effectively, he got, I don't think gaslit is the right word, but it was just so sad, because when Rex and Anakin came to get him, and he was just like in the shadows, wouldn't come close to them, like trying to get them to believe him, and they were sort of like, I don't know if I believe what he's saying, but we need to get him to come with us so that we can help him, so we can take care of him.
It was like a boy who cried wolf situation.
Yeah. Then he wouldn't let them, and I just, it was like, I had the same sort of reaction when Ahsoka was running away, when she got framed for murder. She was running through the sewers, and Anakin found her, and like he was just like, just trying to get, he was like, yeah, well, we have to prove you're innocent, but we have to go back. I would never let anyone hurt you. You need to come back. And she just wouldn't. And like, I guess there's that whole thing where it's like, I just want to help you if you would let me help you, but I
think
that sort of situation
what made it hurt so much more, especially for those that have seen the films prior to that, is that Fies basically uncovered Order 66.
Yeah.
He single-handedly, a single clone could have stopped the entire execution of the Jedi Order. And because of machinations, it's just like, it's going to happen. Like, Order 66 was set in stone. There's no way the series could change it, but at the same time, every single character in Domino's Squad is such a favorite. And Fives was the only one, like, at the time, we didn't know Echo was alive to be brought back for Bad Batch, but Fives was the only one left. We have been with him since the beginning, and it's just like, please.
He was one of the ones on that base in like episode 3 or something.
Yeah,
he was the only one at the time who survived that, because we thought Echo had died during the mission to the Citadel.
Yeah, that was going to be my choice for my favorite story for a clone, is just seeing him come back and seeing how Echo's situation actually played into seeing how like cyborg technology evolved and adapted and was worked on. And he is like a direct lineage, like him and Grievous are like how Vader has happened, You get to see the imperfections of it and how it messed him up, and you get to see more of that in Bad Batch. But
Yep. No, when they found him, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this guy is like missing half of his body, and he's just emaciated and traumatized. I was like, this is gonna be good.
They had been sitting on that entire
There's a lot to work with there.
And to think, they had been sitting on that entire storyboard for Bad Batch for half a decade before they finally got to animate it, and then you got
That's
to
insane. I can barely keep a secret for a week.
Yeah,
I always think of that one ad for episode 9 where it's like, no one's ever really gone.
Yep.
No one's ever really gone.
the thing is, they released like I think it was in like a DVD exclusive or something like that. They released like the unfinished, like the finished storyboards with like the designers and everything like that playing the parts of the characters to showcase like how things could have gone if it was animated. But we didn't think we would ever have it see the light of day in animation, but we did. It happened, and I'm like, yes, thank you,
thank God, right?
Yeah, but the I like how with, oh man, I could talk about the clones for ages. I love how, so we've talked about kind of like their individuality. I
still want to share one clone story that I think is like my personal favorite.
Okay.
The General Krell episodes.
I forgot about those.
Those are like the
good choice.
Those are the darkest episodes of that entire season.
That entire arc is so good. It is so good
because it's
that's the arc that Hardcase is in.
Yes,
because it's all about, because Anakin's basically been gone. We are left with this Jedi Master who basically finds clones expendable, which I do have to say, bringing in a Jedi Master like that that's able to use 2 double-bladed lightsabers like that, I'm like, okay, that's pretty damn awesome.
He's a badass.
Ridiculous. Beast.
I just love the color palette of that entire episode. The dark, deep purples, the neon green and blues. Like you get so used to like a blank slate of like what you expect in color palettes within Star Wars, and this went super alien with like the homeworld's design of the ships that had more of like a space saucer kind of aesthetic inspired with them, and the helmets too. It's very, very good.
I think it was the closest that Star Wars ever came to like capturing War of the Worlds.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it felt like to me, like with the entire design of that. But it was like when Rex's squad had to attack the apparent droids that were impersonating them, but you find out it's another clone squad. And not only that, it was a clone that we knew. It was Waxer, and I'm like, no, not Waxer, please, no.
That was terrible. That's like
I was screaming at my television. I'm like, kill him.
That was like, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
To realize that you have been like killing your brothers, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
it was very Vietnam-esque. Like it captured like a lot
that
of
was wait a minute. Was that the episode where they did a bunch of the stuff? Like usually there's music going on during combat scenes, but I think maybe it was this one where it was just quiet. There wasn't anything.
Some of them.
You just heard like gunfire and ships flying around and stuff.
Yes, some of it was like that, and it was also like the second assault on when they returned to Geonosis, like, and all the ships were just crashing all around them. Also, audio listeners, I do have to apologize. I really banged my desk hard, and I apologize if I hit some ears. Like, but the General Krell episodes.
Speaking of that arc, it wouldn't be an episode if I didn't have a little quote that I wrote down in its entirety.
Yeah.
Please.
So, if anybody knows me, like Donald, you were in Titus Andronicus. You know I love a good story about a soldier.
I was your assistant director for it. I mean, I know your mind better than most when it comes to that.
Yeah, so, just stories about soldiers and what it's like being a soldier. I don't know why. Like, I'm not a soldier. I don't even really have any soldiers in my family or anything like that. Like, if I believed in past lives, I would say that in a past life I was a soldier. But just that was one of the core, like, it was like their identity, the clones, was being a good soldier. And just what Rex learned about that in this arc was just awesome to me. So I wrote it down. So he says, I used to think being a great soldier meant doing everything they told you. That's how they engineered us. But we're not droids. We're not programmed. You have to learn to make your own decisions. And I really like that because it's like you have to make your own decisions. You can't blame your actions on like where you come from or like even like or your past or who you are or what people in your life wanted you to do, you know? Like it's your own decisions, and you can throw around blame all day, but in the end you've decided. Like people will say, I had no choice. You're like, well, you always have a choice. It's just the choice is really, really hard. And just this bond between the clones and like, in the last episode when they're all chasing a Rex and trying to kill them and stuff and
So
he sees he basically thinks there's no other way to escape than to like fight and kill all of his brothers who have through their programming are doing something that they would never do. And he just like says my brothers are willing to die, and he starts crying. And Ahsoka just says, you're a good soldier, Rex, which like
fully encapsulates the lesson I learned from that arc. Totally.
Yeah, that's the thing. She said the exact right thing.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, he probably thought like that. What's the point? We were created to do this. We were created to kill all the Jedi, to turn against our friends and murder them. We were engineered to do this. And it seems like we can't make a decision and we don't have a choice. Like I'm not programmed to be a good soldier, it seems, but he is. And she tells him that.
The entirety of the final episodes of Clone Wars, just a small microcosm of just following Rex and Ahsoka as they went through Order 66.
Yes, like just get out, just escape.
It was perfect. Like we already knew what Order 66 did throughout the entire galaxy through small little snippets from episode 3. But just keeping it to two central characters that we were introduced through in this show that we had grown to love and admire, Captain Rex and Ahsoka Tano, and just put them through that.
I also really love the interactions that Ahsoka had with Maul and their final confrontation. Just the how deeply Maul understands what's going on, and it's like he's literally the guy on the street corner with the cardboard sign saying the end is nigh, trying to get everyone to follow around. And the comet's in the sky, he's looking at it, and everybody's just walking down the street, and he can see it. He can knows it. He's lived and breathed the plan with his master. It's just so interesting to think about the idea of what if Ahsoka didn't follow the sensation of like, oh, my master could never become what Sidious plans to be. Like if she took a minute to think like, he has lived and breathed the plan of the Sith. Why that could happen. Anakin could be not necessarily turned, but maybe destroyed in some way. It's interesting. Misled, right? Yeah. It's interesting to see that path taken.
Like, what did they say on in Mortis? They said somebody, the father, told him to beware your heart. And he's for a Jedi. He never really was able to, put aside his emotions. Like he used them.
Oh yeah. Candidly all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. And like she knows that about him. And like
an interesting fact about Mortis, they initially, with the whole like showing Anakin his future, what he become with the son, they initially had storyboards designed, and they actually did animation for this showing Darth Bane and Darth Revan as the ones giving Anakin this vision of the future.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so they were going to canonize Bane and Revan in that. I mean, they eventually did canonize Bane with Yoda's visit to Morabad. I will also call it
who was portrayed by Mark Hamill.
So good.
Ooh.
Do you know who I am?
Oh my god.
Another thing. The Path of Destruction novels about Darth Bane, the trilogy of Darth Bane books are so good. I can't remember the name of the author off the top of my head. That's like the best Star Wars books ever made, ever. I love Darth Bane so much. But it would have been interesting to see him canonize them in that sense. But I get the choice of wanting to maintain like a singular force as like the epitome of the dark side rather than bringing in other characters.
Darth Bane spinoff or Knights of the Old Republic series?
I'm hoping the Acolyte is Darth Bane adjacent, which is a series that they're going to be making soon.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know if a KOTOR series could ever really be made because of it was an RPG, right? Like you could be a man, a woman, you can make dark side, light side decisions in this story. So everyone's going to have their own version of who Revan was, and I think the idea of it being like a wishy-washy, like, oh no, Revan was this, Revan was that, kind of captures like the largeness and how far away we are from Revan. And like most lore and stories, things get twisted and bent and moved around to fit like what other people would want this character to be, you know? So yeah. I'm not sure if it could be done successfully, but
I can still hold out. I can still hold out.
I would still like it, you know.
Just something related to the Old Republic in like official canon.
They need to redo Darth Nihilus. Like that could do a full reset. That the idea of someone that has completely crushed into themselves and become a wound in the Force, something that it consumes everything around them and not of their own will, just because they have become such a literal black hole of a being. That's an interesting avenue to go about, and I felt like you didn't get a proper story in KOTOR 2.
Hannah's just looking at the camera at both of us, just going like, nerds.
You just don't know anything about this yet.
You should. I highly recommend the games. It's some of the best RPGs
I've come a long way in the past 2 years.
Knights of the Old Republic for an
I've always considered myself a nerd, but
definitely worth your time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah.
So, anything else anybody want to share about this series?
No.
I think we covered quite a bit.
We covered Ahsoka. We covered
really
Anakin.
Did.
Oh
we need to take a
man.
Nap. Tell the viewers about the where they can get the art.
Oh yes.
Tell the story of the art. It's very brief.
So for those of you that have not seen the final episode for the final season of Clone Wars, there is a scene in there where it's years after the Clone Wars have ended. It is the time of the Empire. We arrive on was it a moon or a planet that
a moon.
It was a moon. Yeah.
I remember that was 2 hours ago that I saw that.
Yep. That landed they landed there, and it's a moment of one of the stormtroopers' helmets. Which trooper was it?
I don't know.
It was just one of the clone trooper helmets that had...
It was just one of the ones, yeah.
Yeah, it had they essentially painted all the clone troopers of a section of the 501st painted their helmets to reflect Ahsoka's facial markings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so Hannah, after finishing this series literally just today.
Yeah, so I finished watching I watched all of season 7 today. So
which I gotta say, damn,
crazed look in my eye. But yeah,
impressive, most impressive.
Season. Like I've got about an hour and a half before I record. So you know, I I just like dove in fresh from watching it, and I sketched something up real quick for y'all. So
yes,
not sure how Donald is going to distribute it, but go ahead.
So basically she made a special art representing that entire. Oh man, I need to figure out. Okay, I'm actually legitimately trying to bring it up right now.
Oh, on the stream?
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it up on the stream, but I can't. I don't know why.
I hope you can. It's gorgeously done.
It is
gorgeous. Folks should see it.
It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, hey, Donald.
Local binge master to Hannah's, yes.
That is one of my titles. Local binge master.
Yes! Absolutely.
Whenever we watch something, it's always just, like, it's always just a frantic ordeal for me to watch anything, apparently.
But it's always so much fun. So, okay, I'm gonna try to bring it up.
At least y'all are picking good stuff to binge. I mean,
yeah.
Hold on, is it here? There? No. I have us turned off for the moment just because I'm trying to. It's not showing on screen. Damn it! I just want the photos to be shown. Photo. Wait, Hannah, can you send it to me on Discord?
Yes.
That'll actually be a lot easier because Zoom is like making it very hard for me.
Yeah.
And
Stand by.
Standing by. And we have some special art that is going to be available for all of you that are joining us today. I will send you guys that are in the chat room a special Dropbox link for to download this art for your pleasure. You may put it on your background for your phone, computer, whichever you so choose. It is some exclusive art by our artiste extraordinaire. We'll probably put it up on either the Patreon or some other go to.
It was done very quickly. I don't know what y'all see in it, but that's just as a classic artist. What did you say?
It's so good.
Oh, thank you.
It's so damn beautiful.
I'm not fishing, I promise. I just hope it's okay. I want people to have nice stuff.
It's a wonderful perspective, a really powerful moment.
Yep.
Good.
I don't want to ruin the reveal, so I'll
All right, I'm actually bringing it up right now. So give me a second, guys. For those that are watching live, no, can we? Right there. Look at that. Look at that art, chat.
Gorgeous.
Look, it is beautiful.
Mm.
So
Aww.
that is literally one of the final images that you see.
It's the final shot.
It's the final shot of this amazing show.
In his visor, you can see Darth Vader.
Which
I still holding Ahsoka's saber.
Yep.
Do you see him?
It's
there, out in the darkness.
A fugitive running.
I'm probably gonna
running from God.
I always try to find karaoke songs for all my cosplays, and I need to do that for Vader.
That actually is a pretty good one.
Yeah,
I'm not
that, and I will be your father figure.
Like, Hannah, I'm not gonna lie, I am severely and very tempted to just make this entire photo like the cover art for this episode when we make this.
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah, do it.
It's very, very good. Speaking of karaoke songs that'd be good for Darth Vader, You'll Be Back from Hamilton. You'll be back, soon you'll see. Remember you belong to me.
You're on your own. Awesome! Wow.
Ow.
This is
Maybe a
gonna
little bit
become
too
a
high
game.
pitched for Vader,
Karaoke
but
songs for fictional characters.
I got a whole list.
Really?
I could go
man.
for.
We'll have
I am
to
a karaoke
powwow
queen.
sometime. Wait,
You understand now why I
you're on Discord, right?
Yep, he is in the Discord.
In the Discord.
He's actually in my server too, so.
Oh, there you are.
Yes, DarkPactCosplay. So, for those of you that are in chat tonight, stay tuned after we get done recording, and I will share you guys the Dropbox link where you can get this exclusive artwork for yourselves. For those of you listening on, we'll figure something out when we release the episode. Well, me and Hannah will talk, but I think we can probably wrap it up at that, right, guys?
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah.
In summation, the Clone Wars is a beautiful accomplishment of a passion project of a lot of different Star Wars fans coming together and honestly creating, in my opinion, one of the best animated series of American animation in the early 2000s. And it showed that computer animation can be a very powerful art form, and there are so many stories to tell in the Star Wars universe outside of the films. This show made series such as Star Wars Rebels, Mandalorian, and right now Bad Batch, which is a direct sequel to Clone Wars, possible.
If I wasn't so burnt out from Clone Wars, I would go watch that right now, but I'm going to take a break.
Yeah,
Take a little while. You can
Plus,
binge
also,
it all after.
I have work to do. I'm a freelance writer, and I have a midnight deadline.
that is perfectly fine.
It'll be fine.
I do not blame you one bit. So yeah, if you guys want to see this amazing show for yourself, go check it out. If you guys want to go buy the series, absolutely do so. If not, the entire series is available for streaming on Disney Plus. All you need is a Disney Plus subscription to go view it. We are not associated with Disney Plus in any way, shape, or form. Just letting you guys know that. And also for those of you that are watching live, that is the Dropbox link to the amazing artwork done by our artiste extraordinaire, Hannah Kubiak. And you want to download it for yourself, go check it out. If you guys want to get some exclusive artwork from Hannah or personalized, go check her out. Contact her on Instagram and stuff like that, and we'll get some stuff going. Also, for those of you that are for joining us, I was just about to say that.
Good.
For those of you joining us live, for those of us at General Geekery, we have started a Discord.
We have a
Discord.
Yes, finally a place for all of us to talk.
Yes, we want to talk to all you guys that are about general geekery and things like that. We will post the Discord link in the description of this episode and all future episodes. If you guys want to join us, we'll even promote into things like that. We will talk to you guys about stuff on there. If you guys want to pitch exclusive stuff for us and just anything in between, come on by, chat with us. We would love to hear from you guys. Just click the link right there, or if you're listening to this on audio, click
there are 2 people already here.
Oh, yay!
Oh.
There is an exclusive group for patrons. I think it's a channel? There's a channel for patrons. So, yeah, if you like this and you want to help us out, if you want to get more artwork from me, there's a tier there that you can be a patron at, where you will get artwork from me every month.
Yep.
But I haven't done any yet because we don't have any patrons in that tier yet, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, please let Hannah make some beautiful art for you guys.
They'll be like postcard-sized digital download things. I'm figuring out.
We're slowly but surely getting to it. So, guys, that is going to be it for this episode, talking all about Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and wrapping up this episode of General Geekery Live. For those of you that joined us live, thank you guys so much for joining us. And a special thank you to Evan for joining us, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. This was
I loved it. If you want to bring me back for Rebels, I would be here too. Anything Star Wars, man, I'm here.
we will bring you back again. You were a delight to have.
Thank you.
So, for our listeners and viewers, Evan, where can they check you out at?
Oh, I'm everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have a Patreon as well where I dissect how I make my cosplay and give you tutorials on how to make stuff and do previews of my work before it gets onto any of my social media platforms. I'm also on Twitch as well, too, where I do gaming in cosplay twice a week. I've been taking a break because I'm moving right now. All of that is at Dark Pact, like making a pact with the devil cosplay. And you can find me on anywhere just with Dark Pact Cosplay. I guarantee if there's a medium, I'm on TikTok too. You can find me there too.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to go follow him, we'll have all the links and everything in the description for this episode when the audio version goes live.
Great. Yep. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And if you guys want to follow the podcast on social media and check out anything that we're doing, you can check us out on Instagram at General Geekery and on Twitter and Facebook at Gen Geek Podcast. And like Hannah said, if you want to donate to the Patreon and support us and get some exclusive rewards from us, by all means, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/General Geekery. That is patreon.com/General Geekery. And if you guys want anything more Star Wars related, check out my blog posts on General Geekery on our Patreon, where I ranked all of the Star Wars movies, the episodic movies, in my opinion, from my least favorite to my absolute favorite. Spoiler alert, episode 1 was not at the bottom of the list. I give my reasons in the blog post.
Hey, I agree with that choice.
Indeed. Fair enough. Also, we will have the new General Geekery Discord link in the description of this episode as well. If you guys want to join and chat with me and Hannah and discuss anything geek-related or talk about the most recent episode and share your opinion, by all means, come on down. And like Hannah said, we'll have some exclusive channels open for our Patreon patrons as well. So
I don't know if those who are already patrons have access to that.
We'll figure it out. We will.
One of them is already on the Discord, so maybe I'll ask them if they are there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get it figured out. Hannah, where can they check you out at?
Well, you can find me rolling dice with my party every Monday at 7:30 Central on twitch.tv/Loaded Dice Adventures. We are a tabletop RPG continuous campaign, and we stream our games. I play Petra, the Dragonborn Ranger Rogue, always looking for a zombie to kill. It's a great time. There's lots of shenanigans. We're definitely a Monty Python type party. So if you're looking to be distracted from your own terrible blunders, you can come and watch ours.
Anything else as well?
Oh yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at PythianLegume.
Excellent.
And you can DM me there if you want art. I'm not really anywhere else. I just on Instagram.
Ah, gotcha. And if you guys want to check me out, I'm on social media on Twitter and Instagram at RyuzakiMK7. You guys can check me out doing Coffee Ninja things there, like posting latte art and just talking about a whole bunch of geek things. As always, I'm also on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/RyuzakiMK7, where we're recording live right now. I play a majority of different games. A lot of them are RPG based, but I always love having fun just playing through the games and just chatting with my chat room. And for some games that include non-voiced lines, I love doing on-the-spot voice acting as well. It always gives me a lot of good practice as a actor, developing different voices, and it's always a lot of fun. So you guys, if that's your cup of tea, come on by and hang out with me, and we will geek out about a whole bunch of stuff RPG related. That's twitch.tv/RyuzakiMK7. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. This has been episode 81 of the General Geekery podcast, all about Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Thank you again to Evan Braun of DarkPactCosplay for joining us. We appreciate it.
Always glad to be a part of anything Star Wars. Thank you for inviting me. It's a fun time.
And so we must do our clink clink tradition as always. Hannah, are we ready?
Yes, I have a coffee cup, and I have another coffee cup with pens in it. It'll have to do.
I have
Got
my
clinking stuff too.
Oh, Evan came prepared too. Yes.
You got like empty NyQuil bottles or something? What is
It's paint thinners for. I'm on my desk where I do painting stuff.
Nice.
And I have a beer bottle.
Nice.
Perfect.
I've got my water canteen and I've got my pocket knife. So
That's not even a container, Donald.
Oh, nice!
it's the best I got. Let me have this.
All right.
We're making this work. So, for Evan and for Hannah, I'm Donald. Thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time we see you in a galaxy far, far away, may the Force be with you always. And always remember to keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink.
Blink, blink.
Bye, everybody.
The ones on stream are always, the remote ones are always really weird.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.